So, as you can tell, the competition portion of our evening is over. And now you get to listen to a seventh speech. I was a little bit worried about this, thinking, no one's going to listen, no one's going to want to listen to a seventh speech. But my Brazilian goddess of a friend, Ariel over here, told me they're going to have to listen to a seventh speech anyway, so why not let it be you? They're going to love it. So, thanks. So my confidence is building a little bit, but still waning, and I talked to Dr. Gardner, and she says, hey, are you still going to do this? And I'm thinking, oh, maybe, I think people are going to be bored, and so we kind of move on, but I start telling her about this project that I'm doing, where I go on a lot of dates. And she said, well, that's what you're going to talk about. So, hi, my name is Sarah, and I love boys. I always have. Preschool, it was Julian Velasco. We were what you might call the perfect preschool pair. We were on the swings together, we shared orange slices, and we got along with each other's parents. I'm not really sure how that relationship ended, but it must have, because by kindergarten, I was on to Dylan Supplee. And there's still this picture in my living room where I'm holding his shoulders and going, And I'm sure I had some small crushes along the way here and there, but the next big one was the 4th grade Harry Sowers. He's happily married now, but whatever. I like him all year, and I work up the courage by the end of the year. I go up to him and I say, Harry, I like you. Do you like me? He goes, yeah. But being 8 years old and having no one ever tell me anything about relationships and not knowing how to proceed from this point, I stopped talking to him. And again, little crushes here and there, whatever. I go through middle school. Middle school sucks. And then I'm in the 9th grade, and I meet Nicholas. And Nicholas and I are in English class together, and he sits next to me, and he's super cute. We both play basketball, but you know what? I just liked where we were at. And then he decides that he needs to profess his love to me. And I still didn't know anything about relationships, so I just told him I didn't like him. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, don't feel bad. We're still friends. Yeah, this is still great. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah. But then every month from that point on, he would say, Sarah, I just can't get over you. And so eventually I was like, okay, we can try this, it's fine. But still at this point, no one had ever talked to me about how to have a good relationship. And so the only things I had to go off of were what I had heard from the administration and my teachers in high school. So I went to a high school called Baptist High. And if that tells you anything, I was very immersed in what is known as purity culture. Now, the 3 takeaways I got from purity culture is 1, sex before marriage, bad. 2, modesty, good. 3, there is a perfect pathway, a perfect plan that you can follow to get from single to married. So, let's go over those. 1, sex before marriage is bad, which, okay, but that ideology goes and spurs off into these other ideologies that say you should never put yourself in a situation where you could possibly even fathom having sex. So I was not allowed to hug the boys in my class. You could not be alone with a boy because, God forbid, you stare at each other. You will hold hands, make out, and have sex. Modesty. Now, when they told us no boobs, no butt, no belly, ladies should be showing also that inch above my knee, very sensual. Don't let it show. I never really thought that a boy was going to grab me and kiss me or do anything sexual, so I started getting this ideology in my head that, well, just the fact that they think I'm attractive, just the fact that there is any sexual desire in someone's mind is a sin. And then this perfect pathway. This perfect pathway is girl. Girl does not think about boys. Girl thinks about herself. Girl thinks about her studies. Girl thinks about God, and she lives her life until she is one day magically mature. Boy. boy also lives his life and becomes magically mature, and one day he sees a girl and he goes, wow, that girl is so godly, let's get married. And so he says, girl, I love you, and girl says, well, I don't look at boys, I don't love you, and he goes, but I love you, and she goes, but I don't, and he goes, but I love you, and one day she goes, wow, he loves me, I must love him too. The two start dating, they eventually get engaged, and they get married. So here's this perfect picture. But in case you weren't paying attention, that's what happened to me. And that relationship was terrible. And so I come into college with a lot of baggage. And throughout high school, I had my guy friends, and there was some weirdness, but it started to get a lot worse here. And it's so hard for me to be friends with guys because I'm always worried about, do they think that I like them? Or do they like me? Or I could possibly start liking them, because with that comes a whole host of problems. Because if I like them, if I like a boy, well, I can't talk to him because now that's flirting and I'm initiating the relationship, and that's against the perfect pathway. And if they start liking me, or if they think I like them and something happens, I am now obligated to like them. I never really felt like I had a choice in the matter. If a guy starts talking to me, then I start talking to him. And if he asks me on a date, then I go on a date. And I would go through my relationships like this, feeling like relationships were a grit your teeth, grin and bear it kind of thing. And it was just something I had to do. And so those are my issues. And people here, whether they grew up in the same culture or not, bring their own issues to the table, and we have a dating crisis, friends. So maybe that's a bit extreme, but there is just so much pressure here around dating because there is this idea that I need to be in a place where I am ready to be married before I start dating. There's this idea that we go on one date and we're on this path to marriage, and so then there's so much pressure and it's hard to get to know someone, and you have to size them up, or maybe you're just friends first and you get really close to someone and then you have to profess your love, and it's a lot. And then for me and for other people, there's a lot of fear around it because you get in a relationship and it's not, I'm enjoying myself, we're having fun, we're getting to know each other. It's like me fighting against temptation. And so, I was driving home for Thanksgiving with my friend Richard, and I said, Richard, I don't think I'm going to start dating anyone until I'm 27. Because, at that point, I guess I'll have graduated, I'll have another degree, I'll be settled, and in my mind, I don't want to start dating anyone unless I'm really close to being able to be married, because, there is that sense for me of, I am going to have to fight this temptation, and there's just a whole host of problems that come with this. There's this, if desire is wrong and then it's right and good and holy and commanded when I'm married, a lot of people have trouble making that flip in their life, and they have a lot of problems in their marriage. And here we are stifled. One day I looked around and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm friends with Andrew Turnbull and that's my only male friend. And, I think that's a problem. That's not living in community. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want to do something about this. I want to change something, but what do I do? What do I do? And so I'm home for spring break, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm brainstorming, and this idea hits me, and then my dad walks in the door, and I say, Dad, come here. I have an idea. So freshman year, I was in this entrepreneurial class, and in that class, our teacher told us that you guys are in this golden time in your lives, because as college students, you can get an interview with anybody. You can get a tour of any professional building, because as soon as you say, I'm a college student working on a project, people's guards just go right down. And they think, oh my gosh, I would love to help you, come on in. And so I decided, and I told my dad, Dad, what if I went up to boys and I said, hey, I'm working on a project. Will you go on a date with me? Let me tell you, it's been working. It's been working, friends. So here we are. We're going to try it out. Not Paul. Excuse me, Paul. Hey, Cooper. Hey, Cooper, I'm doing a project. This is not serious. We can just have a fun time. We can get to know you. You have really cool hair. You want to go on a date with me?
I love you, Sarah Petrillo.
All right. I think that was a no. But it has worked the other 6 times. So, I guess all I'm trying to say is that there doesn't need to be so much pressure around dating, and we can just go have fun. We can get to know people, and we can get to know ourselves, and just yeah, I've been going on some dates. It's been a fun time. Happy Thursday.